So at this point, I think we can all agree that out of the many prominent figures who went all in on Trump, the one who debased himself the most was former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani. The man was always a bit of a freak, but since taking on his role as Trump's legal counsel and hype man, he has seen his life, his public image, and his personal finances turn to absolute shit before our very eyes. At 80 years old, the man formerly known as America's mayor is bankrupt and owes money to dozens of people who successfully sued him. He's facing civil and criminal charges in multiple cases related to the 2020 election. And he's been caught on camera looking like an absolute schmuck, whether it's holding a press conference at a landscaping company because he got it mixed up with the Four Seasons Hotel, leaking black goo out of his skull, or appearing to try and have sex with Borat's daughter. Any one of these incidents would be so mortifying to the average person that they would crawl into a hole to live out the rest of their days, but not Rudy.
No, he embraces it. He uses it as energy fuel. As we've discussed this week, one of Rudy's latest achievements in embarrassment came when, after weeks of successfully avoiding getting served with yet another indictment and publicly gloating about it, he was successfully served by the Arizona Attorney General's office at his own 80th birthday. Reportedly right after everyone sang happy birthday to him.
Make a wish.
They waited, they're like, all right, this is too pathetic. We have to wait until at least the song's over.
I'm going to wait till he makes a wish because he's probably going to wish that he never gets served. And then I'm going to serve him. And it's going to be so cool. And me and all the other process servers are going to have a real hoot about it at the process servers bar that we all go to.
Yeah. So it was once again the kind of thing that most people would consider to be the most deeply embarrassing moment of their lives. But for Rudy, it was just a Friday. And by Tuesday, he was back at it again, adding further disgrace to his legacy. Many of Rudy's most embarrassing moments have felt like something straight out of a movie, and in the case of Borat 2, it literally was. But this next debacle is specifically straight out of the movie The Naked Gun. So at one point, the character Frank Drebin is in court and is mic'd up so he can give testimony. Then he goes to take a piss with the microphone still on for the whole courtroom to hear.
It's one of the best bits in the movie.
On Tuesday, Rudy Giuliani appeared remotely via Zoom to his arraignment in Arizona court. And, well, just here you go.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm sorry that that wasn't clear. Can you go
No
ahead?
problem. Appreciate it.
Yeah, great. Number 66 on today's calendar. 66 is CR 2024.
Is that me?
Yes, it's you, Mr. Giuliani. I'm just calling the case 2024 006.
Okay, yeah, that sure sounds like piss. And very specifically, old man piss.
Dribbling.
It's a weak stream, possibly due to an enlarged prostate.
Could be.
This, of course, seems almost too good to be true. And it seems like something that could have very easily been edited into the video. But here's the Daily Beast. For those inside the courtroom, the question of whether Giuliani was pulling a Frank Drebin left many of them holding back the urge to laugh. We were all trying to hold our composure in the courtroom while trying to figure out what it was. Reporter Cameron Arkand noted. Now that tweet from that reporter appears to have been deleted. So who knows? Maybe it was out of respect. Maybe it was out of fear. Maybe he was correcting a mistake.
I would have thought that Rudy would have done this on purpose to keep up the, really drive home that he is just a doddering old fool. He can't even appear at his arraignment correctly.
The Uncle Junior defense?
Yeah, like I'm clearly too old and stupid to have committed any crime knowingly.
That would make sense if it was at all consistent, because he is still out there pretending to have his shit together.
Yeah, well...
so, yeah, I mean, it's not like this would be especially unbelievable, though. I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy accidentally pissed with his mic on during a Twitter Spaces talk like 3 months ago. And Rudy previously let out a loud fart during a hearing where he disputed the 2020 election results.
The answer.
You have a point of order?
The answer that I gave you is they didn't bother to interview a single witness, just like you.
And that's 100% real. You see the woman next to him go like,
damn, Rudy.
Damn.
Yeah, well, like when you get that old, they just kind of fall out.
Yeah.
The farts slip out, the pee's a little harder.
Yeah, the pee comes out a lot slower and the gas comes out a lot faster.
Yeah, no one's going to question whether or not he was frying chicken off screen. It was not that.
No,
No.
no.
So we choose to believe that Rudy Giuliani did, in fact, take a piss on Mike during a court appearance, because it is absolutely in line with every other thing that we know about him. And at this rate, since his gaffes appear to be accelerating with age, we look forward to Rudy's next gaffe, which is due any moment now.
Yeah, possibly while we're filming, he does another one.
Yeah, if this one didn't stick, he's like, oh, everyone thought I was goofing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do something even more senile.
He's going to have to shit his pants.
Yeah, well, he might have actually done that when he let the other one loose.
That's true.
Yeah, we don't know. But speaking of people who have hitched their wagon to the Trump train and will now forever be associated with it, Kid Rock has seemingly benefited from his Trump connection much more than Rudy Giuliani has, earning himself a fan base that at this point probably cares a lot less about his actual music than the fact that he's one of the few famous musicians that has gone full-on MAGA. This week, Rolling Stone published a long interview between writer David Peisner and Kid Rock, real name Bob Ritchie, and it is a lot.
It's long. It's a lot in that sense, but it's also a lot just in terms of the portrait you get of this man.
Yes.
The intimate look at his life, where it's in the category of stories we've all seen many times, where it's like, wow, he's really got it all. And then you take a closer look and you're like, wow, actually this person seems fucking miserable.
Seems very depressed when you peel back just a couple layers.
In a prison of their own design in a lot of ways.
Yeah, so the whole thing is worth a read, and links are always down below in the description. But let's just go over some excerpts, because they're going to give you a great idea of the real Kid Rock.
Yeah, some real just insight. So first, here's a description of just Kid Rock's house, which I guess is just in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Modeled to look like the White House, the extravagant, airy mansion is decorated with taxidermied hunting trophies and neon beer signs. The bathroom hand towels are monogrammed with an R, and a mirror near the sink has a naked woman in a Liberty headband painted on it in pink. Images of Kid Rock's platinum records adorn the garage doors. Ritchie's entire sprawling 214-acre compound, which includes a saloon, a studio, and a cavernous hangar with a pickleball court, a basketball hoop, and the original General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard in it, feels like what a 13-year-old boy might sketch if you asked him to design his dream home.
I gotta say, at least he lives up to the persona that he's built for himself.
Yeah, this is...
Because he wasn't white trash. He was born to a very
They go over that a lot in this article. His dad literally owned a dealership.
Yeah,
He's the original, my dad owns a dealership. He was from... I mean, and we know people like from Detroit, and it's like the city of Detroit and the suburbs of Detroit.
Very different.
Very different scenes.
Yes, it's just funny that he built this persona as like a Southern rock god, despite being somewhat wealthy from Michigan, and has decided, even in his private life, to fully live it. So, I mean,
yeah,
you know.
At one point in the interview, he puts on a Bud Light hat.
Yep.
And the interviewer is just like, what's that about? And he's like, oh, fuck. Don't tell anyone.
I feel
did
like
this on accident.
Because he's come out so in support of Budweiser in recent months. Since I pretty much, it was like New Year's or something like that, he was on something where he's like, everyone stand down.
Yeah.
We've done enough. And now he's wearing the hat.
Ceasefire now.
And this isn't like the first, there's been little hints that maybe he's like digging a little deeper. Like there has to be either he got like a phone call from someone at Anheuser-Busch, or like a surreptitious endorsement deal or something.
I think he's the real deal. So he actually does care that much. You know, he's not going to let one little misunderstanding get in the way of a lifelong love affair with Anheuser-Busch and its delicious products.
The funniest part of this would be like if he really gave it the college try to get into like Coors Light or Miller and was just like, I can't do it. I don't care who endorses it.
I mean, I think he did, because in this house, he's serving Miller Lights.
Oh. Uh-oh. Well, so the bulk of the article is a profile of Kid Rock's origins in the suburbs of Detroit, his political shift over the years, and commentary from various people who have known him throughout his career. But it really, really goes off the rails towards the end. By this time, I've long since quit drinking, but Ritchie has exchanged his white wine for Jim Beam and Diet Coke. He proceeds to drain at least 3 or 4 of them in pretty quick succession. He's sitting in a dark leather chair, shouting at me about something or other, when he reaches behind the seat, pulls out a black handgun, and waves it around to make some sort of point. And I got a fucking goddamn gun right here if I need it, he shouts. I got them everywhere. Something you definitely want to see and hear from an individual who's not only been just drinking throughout the night, but then is pounding fucking Jim Beam.
Yeah. It continues, this was the tenor of the next hour or so. We start talking about American history, and he rightfully brings up slavery and the genocide of Native Americans as stains on that history. I ask him if he worries that in the modern day, he might be on the wrong side of history. No, it was the Republicans that freed the fucking slaves. Yes, but the Republicans were the progressive party back then. I know where you're going with this, and I'll tell you why I don't, Richie says. Because Trick Trick, the hardest hitting N-word in Detroit, was like, dog, you had that shit right. We need Trump. I'll call him right fucking now. He dials his phone, but Christian Mathis, the pioneering underground Detroit rapper who goes by Trick Trick, doesn't pick up. Richie turns back to me. I'm telling you, these dogs are calling me like, yo, N-word, you had that one right. And that's what the hard R.
Yeah, and that is,
I can say it.
he gave me the pass. So yikes. And yeah, it reads as though he said that with a hard R. Not that the alternative would be much better, but there you go. At this point, it does seem like in the interview, Kid Rock is pretty wasted. At one point in the evening, the MAGA veil falls for a moment, and he seems to lament becoming such a reviled figure among so many music fans. No one's ever going to say, fuck Prince, he tells me. As soon as he goes, and here Richie breaks into song, I never meant to cause you any sorrow. You're like, ah! Yeah, but Prince wasn't out talking shit about everyone spouting political opinions. I don't care. Purple Rain is probably the greatest Prince song ever written. Prince is known for Purple Rain. I'm known for shooting up Bud Light cans. But do you want that? You don't want that to be on your epitaph. I don't care. Yeah, but you do. No, I don't. You don't understand. I really don't give a fuck. As he's probably crying, at least on the inside.
What have I done? Is this my legacy? I don't care.
And he is of the somewhat of the correct age to where he was probably extremely heavily inspired by Prince.
Yeah, I mean, they talked to like so many people who knew him like back in the day, and they're like, yeah, like he was into like all these different genres of music, and like that's part of like, I mean, regardless of the quality you perceive in his like that first album of his that got big, like there are a ton of musical influences there that like were crossing over in ways that like hadn't really been seen in the mainstream yet. So yeah, I mean, it does sound like he really does admire Prince, and it does feel some sadness that that'll never be him.
Yeah, well.
But it's not just that. I mean, Prince was also, I would say, thousands of times more talented.
Well,
than
yeah,
Rock
obviously,
was.
but like even at his level of fame, going a different direction could have had a legacy that he probably would have been at least a little more proud of. Because it doesn't sound, based on this interview, it doesn't sound like he's proud of his legacy, despite whatever he's currently saying or going along with.
Like, so a lot of the article like is sort of like tracing his like political path, and it's just like, yeah, he's always been like, yeah, I'm a Republican, but like he's like over the years many times he's just like, yeah, I'm not down with like the anti-gay stuff and like anti-abortion stuff. Like he seems to be like pretty moderate up to a point. And then Donald Trump comes along and he just leans hard into like all this culture war shit.
Yeah, it's to me, he feels like he loves America, but he loves a certain type of America that he's made up in his mind that is literally monster trucks and kicking other countries' asses.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure 9/11 had some effect on it because he probably was like, fuck yeah, and we're going to go kick their ass. And like, and he just seems like that style of very patriotic person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But so the end of the interview is a long, drawn-out argument between Kid Rock and the interviewer over whether the interviewer can leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Kid Rock keeps insisting that he spend the night, and he's refusing to drive him out to his car, which is like a half mile out in the middle of nowhere because his compound is massive. You won't make it, Richie snarls. Just watch this one YouTube video, and then I'll take you up there. After some fidgeting with the remote, he loads a video of himself performing Born Free at a 2011 charity event onto the flat screen in the lounge. The audience at the show includes Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. Don't you miss being that guy? I ask him. No, I can do that any day of the week. Not anymore, because you couldn't be in a room with, I don't give a frog's fat fuck. Look around. I got a butler named Uncle Tom. Do I look like I give a fuck? What? He does.
That's crazy. It is wild that he like has this and he's like, you know, that is to him deep down in the drunk mode, maybe the pinnacle of his life.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
it was
100%. You're playing to 4 presidents?
Yeah, and then it's all downhill from there because you latch yourself on to essentially a criminal. And
He's trading playing for 4 presidents to being best buds with 1 president. At one point in the interview, he's like, watch this. He calls Trump, but Trump doesn't pick up.
yeah, just like trick. No one's answering his calls.
Because I'm sure when Kid Rock's calling, you're just like, fuck, do I have time for this shit? How many Diet Cokes and whiskeys
Jim
has he
Beams
had so far?
Yeah, I feel like he's getting these little flashes of like self-awareness or whatever. Because he has these moments where he's like, yeah, like, I don't like that they're banning abortions. I don't like the anti-gay stuff. Like, he seems to have some, it's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
But he's committed to a very specific bit.
Well, this interviewer for Rolling Stone, he should understand that when another man asks you to watch a YouTube video, that is him sharing his, he's being
Here,
friends with
watch
you. He's sharing a part of his culture with you. When the video ends, I stand up to go, but he wants to watch another one. And then another one after that. This goes on for more than half an hour. Me telling him I need to leave, him insisting on watching just one more video. All while goading me into arguments about Gaza, Trump, whatever. He pulls an acoustic guitar off the wall and plays along with shaky fan footage of himself performing Maggie May. I start to wonder if I'll ever get home. Finally, I pick up my backpack. Okay, I'm out. Richie shakes his head. You just stay over. I can't. I really have to go. All right. This is the last one we'll watch. This is every drunk, high party I went to in my 20s.
One more.
No. We don't want the night to end. When the night ends, that's when reality slips in.
I can't be alone with my thoughts.
Yeah, it's, woo. This one is the final. That's what my dad used to say. The final. I've got to go. You can't get anywhere without me. I've got legs. I can make it up the hill. I'm leaving. I start walking towards the door. Sit down. No. One more and that's it. You said that 10 fucking minutes ago. Final. You haven't even asked me about my jewelry. No, but you see, he let him... Look, he showed him YouTube videos, which is a sign of trust and camaraderie among men, specifically a white man like Kid Rock. I'm sure he showed off one of our videos where we're making fun of him. And then he like lets him in a little bit and he goes, you know,
we're friends now.
The final. That's what my dad used to say to me.
Yeah.
He's like letting him into a part of his life. He's like, look, I'm damaged. I got daddy issues.
Yeah.
Just, you know, let me do what my dad did and say final. And then you stay and we all have a good time.
You know what he's acting like?
Yeah.
He's acting like a drug dealer. When you go to their house and you're like, okay, so how much? All right. No, sit down. Well, come on, we'll just watch a little bit of this with me.
Thank goodness that they legalized weed because I did have to live through those years.
That's like the scene in SLC Punk when they go to buy weed from Till Schweiger, and they're just stuck at his fucking house for hours while he's like having a mental breakdown about his parents dying in a plane crash.
But you got to be nice because they give you a little bit extra. Yeah.
So yeah, the arguments, he just won't let him leave. No. It just keeps on going. Kid Rock.
It's sad, honestly.
Keeps pouring himself more drinks. I wish he had kept a tally, but I'm sure it sounds like it was a lot. And starts up random arguments out of nowhere, exactly like probably how your MAGA uncle does at Thanksgiving. It's just things seem to be okay, and then here it comes. And at one point, Kid Rock squares up like he's ready to fight before calming down and having yet another drink. Eventually, after what sounds like hours of arguing about politics, arguing about the interviewer leaving, and having more drinks, Kid Rock finally drives him to his car on an ATV, which had to be terrifying.
Yeah, also very dangerous.
Yeah.
Even though it's
I'm good.
His property, probably wide open, obviously no other traffic, but I would still be like,
yeah.
You know what? Why don't I drive it?
Can I at least get a helmet, maybe?
Please.
Pussy. So yeah, they finally get to the car and the interview ends with Kid Rock saying, just write the most horrific article about me. Do it. It helps me. And yeah, it seems like he did at least like partially get what he asked for, though the vibe is less like Kid Rock is a monster.
You should be scared of Kid Rock.
And it's more Kid Rock is pathetic and past his professional prime and desperately clinging on to relevance and seemingly very lonely. Sort of like that classic Onion article, Marilyn Manson now going door to door trying to shock people. He has chosen like a character
that he
has to be.
Has to go door to door to let them know that he's in the neighborhood. This is the court's making me do this.
Yeah, so you may have seen a little dot pop up on your local sex offender map.
I thought, to be fair, so there's no legal issues.
Yeah.
I think he got exonerated or something.
Yeah,
or legally cleared.
He
or
hasn't
something.
formally been charged with anything, but not a good person.
So yeah, it really, he probably thought that was gonna help his persona, but it really makes him seem weak and sad. Honestly, he wants people to be scared of him, and people they just kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
But it is kind of hard to feel bad for someone with that much ostentatious wealth and with, I guess some shred of influence on a certain type of person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad for him, but it's very depressing. This is a very dark path to go down with fame, and there's really, he cannot turn back.
Yeah, no.
And I think that's what's fucking with him.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm forever going to be the Trump
The Bud
guy.
Light guy.
Yeah, the guy that just shot a bunch of Bud Lights with an MP5 and broke his hand in the process.
Whew! Sorry, Kid Rock, but let's move on. I mean, last week's top story was, of course, the congressional catfight between the youngish female stars of both parties, during which Marjorie Taylor Greene insulted Jasmine Crockett's eyelashes, and Crockett eventually fired back with the now iconic insult describing Marjorie Taylor Greene as a bleach, blonde, bad-built butch body.
There's been so many remixes of that.
Yeah, it's the Summer Jam.
Yeah.
Now, we noted at the time that while this level of conflict is pretty unusual in the U.S. Congress, other countries have seen actual violence break out in their legislative chambers. And in the past week, we've got multiple examples of this. Over in Taiwan, their parliament erupted in chaos over some legislative reforms, with lawmakers tackling each other, and at one point, someone grabbing the actual bill and running away with it.
I love that.
Yeah, I mentioned it last week because I saw the video and I was like, I just had scrolled by it and I was like, huh.
He literally runs up and just grabs a stack of papers and tries to run out. That's one way to stop legislation you don't want.
Yeah, and over in Romania, a parliament meeting got so heated that two lawmakers got in a fight, during which one of them tried to bite the other's face. Damn.
Woo!
Meanwhile...
Too much tweaka.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
Yeah,
Turns you into a monster.
Makes you into a vampire.
Meanwhile, a few foreign heads of state decided to also help put our shit into perspective, with Argentina's Javier Milei declaring, "I'm the king and I will destroy you," at a rock concert / book release party.
This is so weird. He got on the mic, he was singing, he's rocking leather. Meanwhile, doesn't seem like he's too popular in the country where he just won an election.
I sold our country out to Elon Musk. Why is nobody clapping? So India's Narendra Modi publicly declared his belief that he was literally sent by God. So there's also that too.
Not sure which God though. How does that work?
I don't know.
He's got like several of those, I think. But yeah, he's just like, I'm like not 100% certain that I was actually birthed. Like I may have.
I would remember that.
I may have just been sent by God, whichever God you like.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Think of a God. Think of your favorite God. That's the one that sent me.
I know him. I know him personally. I'm gonna give him a call. You'll see.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't answer right now.
But you see on the phone, it says it's
there.
Right there.
Let me try Trick. Actually, he's busy right now too.
But if he picked up, he would have said that I totally have the N-word pass.
Yeah, and so does Modi.
And so does Narendra
Say it.
Modi.
Do it.
The N-word is Narendra. Anyways, that's the news half of the show. And now it's time for...
Wait, hold on. Because we would have an ad right here, but we don't.
But I don't. And these pockets are...
They're so dry.
Bit dry.
Please click the join button. Become a member.
If you would be so kind.
It's $5 a month. You watch hours of our show, I'm assuming, every month. I think it's a good deal. We haven't raised prices like all those other streaming services.
Or if you want to just toss some change one time, we got the
hit the thank button.
Thank button. Or if you're just you want to help with engagement,
click the like button.
The like button is your friend.
Thank you so much. I saw, we had earlier in the week 15,000 likes.
Thank you.
Let's go for 16,000.
To the brave 15,000.
We love you. Now we can get into the headlines, the craziest, weirdest, wildest headlines from around the world this week, starting with...
Man is fined after trying to body slam killer whale.
What was this, some rogue billionaire?
No, just a rogue New Zealander.
I'll fucking show you, coming after my yacht.
We should not be picking this fight.
No, they'll win every time.
Also, this I'm not even that into wrestling. Haven't been since a child, but this wasn't a body slam. this was a splash, like you would do coming off the top rope. A body slam is when you pick someone up and slam them on the ground. What this man did was jump off of a boat onto some orcas that were nearby that were probably, what a magical moment. Some orcas swim up to your boat in the sea and they don't look mad. They're just like, hey, what's up? We're orcas. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to remember this moment forever. But this fucking asshole is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump on it. Sort of like your friend that jumped on the...
And it turns out that it was dead. It was a rotting carcass and he went straight through it.
Sort of like your friend that jumped on the dead manatee.
We all have a friend who jumped on the dead manatee.
Yeah, apparently it's an urban legend.
That is so crazy because I found that out. Like, first of all, there was no fucking internet back then, but it spread the old-fashioned way, like, to bring up Marilyn Manson again, taking his rib out.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the fuck this came from, and then unless it's all came from my guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it could have.
It's a hell of a story.
It is.
But yeah, this guy jumped in the water. He didn't jump directly on the orca, but he was harassing it. He was touching it.
Yeah.
And you can't fucking do that. Especially, like, of all places to try this, like, New Zealand has some of, like, the strictest, like, wildlife laws in the world.
You're lucky you got away with just a fine. It could have... You could have been the first person to die by killer whale in the ocean.
They've never killed anyone on purpose, but like
outside of captivity.
Do you want to? Yeah,
they definitely did it on purpose in captivity.
They have murdered people here on the mainland. But yeah, do you really want to be the first one? Do you really want to test them? They've been showing us. They've been loud and clear about what they are capable of, while not leaving any bodies in their wake. And you're going and doing this shit.
Yeah.
If they come for us extra hard this summer, it is this man's fault, because those orcas, they're going to spread the news like, hey, I just went to go say hi, and these fucking humans.
Could you imagine?
Can you believe it?
Could you imagine this guy gets killed and the orcas get a taste for human blood?
It's over.
Yeah, we're delicious.
I mean,
they're going to be coming on shore for us.
It honestly could be something like that, because like it's similar with like elephants.
Yeah.
Elephants, as soon as an elephant kills a human being, like they pretty much have to be like euthanized, because once they discover that they are capable of it, they will never take shit from anyone again.
Yeah.
You can't keep them in captivity, and if they're in the wild, if they ever encounter a human, they're like, oh yeah, I remember this, bop. Wow, that was easy. Sick. I love doing that.
It's like those
Do we
bison.
want that to happen with orcas?
Every summer, those bison, they get lucky with one person, they grab them by their pants and fling them through the air.
Yeah.
They love doing it.
At least one.
Yeah.
I feel like in Yellowstone, every summer, it's like once a week, some dipshit like walks right up to one with their phone.
Hey, it's a fluffy cow.
Cool. It's just like in the cowboy movies.
Next headline. Central Florida priest bites woman after denying her communion, police say.
I mean, after reading this, I'm with the priest here. Because it sounds like this lady, she showed up to mass once and like, she didn't even know like the right hand motions to do. And he's like, all right, so I'm not giving you communion because clearly you haven't been confirmed or whatever into the faith. But if you go to confession, you can come back. I'll give you communion. And then she comes to the next mass like an hour later and is still trying to pull that shit. And she like reaches out to grab it when he refuses it. And to him, this is the body of Christ.
He has to protect
and it must
Christ.
be protected.
Yeah.
And if that means biting a woman, so be it.
Yeah.
So, he did what he had to do. Stop fucking with this man's Eucharist. It's not funny.
What was her deal?
Also, if you want to play with that...
What the fuck is her deal?
I don't know. She's a weird person. If you want to play with that shit, though, you can just order it online.
Yeah.
Get a big tube of it.
I got
dip
holy
it in
water.
hummus.
I got holy water in my bedside table.
Yeah. It's not blessed, so it's fine.
No, I think mine was. I got it in Italy.
Oh, the water? Yeah, they say that. I mean...
I got it at a church, in Italy.
Yeah.
So it's real holy water.
Yeah, but did you put it on yourself and did it start burning?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then it's real.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I put it around the door so when I walk in, it's a cleanse. It cleanses me from the evils that I've collected all day.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the best use for it.
I don't do any of it. I really have it, but I'm not like putting it on me or anything.
Oh, cool. Holy water.
Yeah.
Grandma groped Goofy. Character allegedly assaulted by elderly woman at Walt Disney World.
Stop it.
This has been an ongoing problem at the Disney parks for a while. It's usually younger women getting handsy. There's multiple videos of this where the performer has to stop and immediately you're out of here.
Yeah. Gaston.
Yeah, Gaston's the biggest. And I think they might have changed Gaston's schedule or something, or changed his appearances, how they work, because it was such a problem. Every fucking millennial woman would grope Gaston. Mm-hmm. But this lady was 65 And she,
Hey, that's young, baby.
And her tastes are a little different than you millennial
Super
girls.
goofy.
Like, we didn't have Gaston when I was a little girl. What we had was Goofy.
She knows a big floppy cock
Yeah.
when she sees one.
And
Gaston's penis is very small.
they took a whole family photo, like 3 generations in one picture, and Grandma just like grabbed a piece of Goofy ass.
Yeah.
And she had to go.
Well, they can't arrest her because she'll just fucking poop herself, just like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah. Oh,
What do you want me to do?
I guess I'll get into your cop car with my pants full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Guess you're probably going to have to clean that up later.
You know, thinking back on it, Kid Rock is like I guess he's still alive, but our generation's Ted Nugent. If only there was a draft so Kid Rock could shit himself in order to avoid...
I would say Ted Nugent is a far worse human being than Kid Rock.
Yeah.
However, far more talented musically, like genuinely, like kind of a virtuoso on the guitar, but also like literally an evil man and like a pedophile and a rapist.
Yeah, very, very bad guy. Family stricken with rare brain worms after eating undercooked bear.
Yeah, folks, when you're cooking bear, you gotta make sure the bear is done.
Brain worms. They're real and they're affecting everyone.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's like every single person at this. It's like someone. I guess they killed the bear. So I mean, if you're
At least
hunting,
they're putting it to use.
Yeah, most people that kill a bear don't eat fucking any of it. They're just doing it for the furs, which is kind of fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the meat's not that good, but
At least you're using it.
yeah, they were cooking it in a certain way. I think they were making like shawarma out of it, and all of them, everyone there, like within days, had just like a litany of symptoms. And they're just like, oh, it must have been something in that bear. And like, yeah, they get tested and there's like fucking like worms swimming around in their brain.
How do you fix that?
Just anti-parasitic medicine. Probably the like ivermectin.
Yeah. Sick. I think that would be a great evolution in our country's history, is that everyone who took ivermectin to cure COVID are the exact type of people who are actually going to get brain worms.
Yeah.
We thought they had brain worms.
Just let them
theoretically,
take it.
but,
Let them just take the ivermectin.
Now they need it. Yeah. Well, or the brain worms are now used to it because they've been having it for so long for no reason that they've built up an immunity and they can only infect the minds of ultra conservatives.
Yeah, drug-resistant brain worms.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Postal worker caught racing Mustang in USPS van, hitting 105 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. I wouldn't have guessed that a postal van can even go that fast. This is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
Aside from being extremely dangerous and pointless, the fact that this postal, and in the past when postal workers went postal, that meant people were dead. People were shot up. In this case, the postal worker saw a Mustang driving really fast and was like, you know what?
Fuck it.
Let's go. I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
I think this is pretty funny. It was obviously very dangerous.
It was a young woman too. You don't expect someone driving this recklessly to be anything other than
the
a
Mustang
man.
offended her honor.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you ever feel like racing a Mustang, don't.
Yeah.
Because you will be an accessory to murder. Because that Mustang is going to lose control and take a bunch of people out.
Well, everyone that drives one, they're not used to a rear-wheel drive V8 car.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, thankfully, once they're on the straightaway, it's not a big deal. When you really want to steer clear of Mustangs is when they're pulling out of parking lots.
Yeah, but that's when they gun it every time.
Right. But they gun it while the fucking front wheels are turned.
Mm-hmm.
And just immediately, like the physics does the rest.
Yep.
You're fucked. From the second you hit the gas, you're fucked. And it's always a delight to see. It's why Mustangs have been banned from like every Cars and Coffee club in the country.
You guys got to stop.
Yeah.
They're not going to let us come to this Denny's anymore.
Ambulance collides with moose while responding to another moose collision.
We need an ambulance for the broken down ambulance for the moose incident.
Can you guess which country this was?
Canada?
That's right. Yeah.
Those moose are big?
No, they're terrifying. I've never seen one in real life. At least, I might have seen one in like a zoo. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know.
But yeah, even in videos, like most animals, you see videos of them and it's hard to like really get a sense of like the scale. But like every video I've seen of a moose, I'm like, this is a like mythical creature. Like humans killed off every like crazy large animal before we had a chance to see them, but somehow moose are still out there standing like 15 feet tall.
Yeah. It's because they own that forest.
Yeah.
Get out.
And they're all lanky and shit. And like they regularly fucking kill people.
Yeah. They're fucking huge.
Because they know they can.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like there was a moose incident on the highway up in northern Ontario. And the ambulance coming to treat the people at that accident. I don't know if it was the same moose or another moose, but they also hit a moose. It's even scarier if it's the same moose. A moose can survive 2 car accidents.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Canada
Sorry,
problem.
Canada.
You wouldn't understand. It's a Canada thing.
Uh-huh. Pittsburgh police candidates allowed to retake their psychological evaluations after dozens failed.
Oh, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It is interesting, like, among the many, many problems with American policing that will take generations to solve, if ever, is the fact that it's very self-selecting. Everyone, like, the people who should be cops are people who would never once consider it because of the connotations and the culture around it. The people who should be enforcing the law are moral, upstanding people who have much better opportunities. Also intelligent, so they have much better opportunities. So the people who actually want to be cops, that's pretty much all they've got.
They are gravitating towards power.
Like, so you tell me I get to have a gun and I can kill anyone without any repercussions? So yeah, it sounds like over in Pittsburgh, they just had like a dozen Seth Rogens in Observe and Report like show up. And like after the first one, they're like, okay, well, that guy's a fucking psycho. Next, like,
all these people are crazy.
Okay. And then the department's like, all right, where's our new squad of officers? And like, no, they're all fucking insane. They all have this like crazy fucked up idea that they're like
in a war zone.
In a war zone.
Yeah.
We can't let these people be cops. I'm like, okay, well,
just remove that part.
Can we just like make the test a little easier? Let them retake it again. Maybe we'll coach them through it this time.
Yeah. Have them identify a clock.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. You can sleep soundly knowing that the best and brightest are out there serving and protecting.
Or something.
Up in smoke. Workers removed dozens of apparent marijuana plants from Wisconsin Capitol Tulip Garden.
This feels like something out of like the 60s or 70s.
I think it's funny. You just go spread some seeds around.
Yeah.
It'll grow. It's a literal weed.
Yeah. It won't be very useful.
No, but it'll grow and look
weed
like
that's just grown from scattered seeds. Like you're gonna have to grind up that entire plant to get like enough THC to get high.
The flower looks like it. Not the flower, but the
leaves.
The leaf, yeah.
It does look cooler. All of the weed you smoke, it's just a like bunch of fucking nuggets. Where's the cool leaves? I was told there would be cool leaves.
I thought you just chopped up one of those big cool leaves and rolled it up.
I think back in the day they did. They had pretty slim pickings back then. They were smoking just entire joints like cigarettes and getting a mild high.
One of our joints would kill those hippies from the
Literally. That's why I stopped smoking weed for so many years.
I'm having a bad trip, man.
Yeah, just taking like the tiniest, like I'd get past a joint and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna go. And even then, like I'd be high for like hours. I'm like, this is fucking
Let me out of here.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it's cost effective. You just need a little bit.
But even then, like I'm saying, like even taking the tiniest puff, it's too much.
Yeah.
That's why I got into edibles. I can take like...
Yeah, they're perfectly measured.
I'm literally taking like medicinal doses of weed that are like...
Give me my 5 milligrams so I can go to sleep.
Literally, like 5 mils at the end of the day is good enough for me. Your average weed smoker wouldn't even be able to fucking feel that.
Yep.
Fuck the LAPD. Shirt maker's entire shop sold out after cops threatened him.
Yeah, they were trying to like say that that LAPD is trademarked and that they're going to come after him for using that. No.
It's a cool logo. I would have guessed that the LA Lakers would have gone after him because the logo is like very clearly like the fucking Lakers logo. But yeah, the guy posted about it online and just like, everyone's like, oh, hey, cool shirt. I'm going to go buy some of that. So great job, LAPD, doing the classic Streisand effect.
It's like, and the same thing is like the Dodgers probably aren't going to go after whoever it is that's making the LA cab.
Yeah.
Those are cool. I see those all over the place.
I mean, that's the Dodgers logo in particular. Like every clothing store in the city has like essentially trademark infringed Dodger merch. Like every brewery has like the Dodgers, except they just change the word to whatever the brewery is.
Yep.
Maybe add like change the baseball out for something else.
Smartly so far, the Dodgers have been like, this is going to be way more of a headache if we cause a fucking fuss.
Yeah. Who cares?
Yeah.
Plus, we got that Fanatics running our merch, and
we got $35 parking, and
we got this Fanatics merch that costs 10 cents to make. We're earning insane profits on all of it. Who cares?
Yeah. It dissolves in the washer and dryer within
They
one
don't
wash.
make the money off the parking. That is the
McCourt Foundation.
The McCourt
Right.
family,
Yeah.
the former owners of the team.
Yeah.
And final headline, some somber news. Kabosu, side-eyeing Shiba Inu, who inspired the Doge meme, dies at 18.
Is this good for the coin? Is this good for the coin?
It is sad that
The legacy. Speaking of legacies.
Yeah, the legacy is now super tied to that shitty cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
Kabosu, who is a girl, I'm just learning this.
Mm-hmm.
But the owner of Kabosu never, ever never made a fucking cent off of her dog.
Mm-hmm.
Had I'm assuming just numerous opportunities to do so in the same way that like fucking Grumpy Cat and all those early internet animals did. And she refused. And so I'm sure she probably didn't really like the Dogecoin thing
I would assume
at
not.
all either.
Wait, this is worth $1 trillion?
Yeah. But yeah, I've been following the Twitter account for this dog for years. It's been in bad shape for a while. I'm pretty sure it was blind and deaf and crippled. Owner was just sort of carrying it around.
Are there any more influencer animals out there? Was it kind of just that you had to be on the ground floor kind of thing?
Yeah, I think at this point, I follow a lot of specific dogs on Instagram, but none of them are like at that level.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all famous in their own right, but only among people who would follow that kind of content. Whereas
It's
in
crazy
the
that all
past,
those
like
little-
those online animals, everyone knew Grumpy Cat.
Like Lil Bub's dead too, right?
Yeah, that was early on.
Well, so this might be one of the last of that era.
Yeah. Now they're all on the other side of the Rainbow Bridge doing memes together.
I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you at the Mashable House, which I'm sure that would I'm sure they extended the offer,
Yeah.
but the owner probably said no, too far.
Yeah.
Oh well. Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Yeah, real sad. Maybe justice will have its due, and there will be a statue in Japan somewhere.
Yeah, they love putting up dog statues.
Yeah, because they're good boys or
Yeah.
girls. That's right. Anyways, that's it for this week's episode of Weekly Weird News. We had so much more for you to watch this week, but first, if you forgot to click the like button, do it now.
Come on.
Comment your favorite influencer animals that are still alive down in the comments below. And click the join button, hit the thank button. Just do whatever you want, but engage with the content in some way. And if you missed it, we got Ticketmaster potentially getting broken up, Ticketmaster and Live Nation.
Yeah,
With-
and Google's AI being fucking garbage.
Oh my God, because it's gotten so big online, people are posting some of the most insane results. Like the craziest results from Google are still being crowdsourced.
Yep.
So just on Twitter right now, it's amazing. But so we have that episode where we go over some of those. And we also have Scarlett Johansson being very justifiably upset at GPT chat.
Yeah,
OpenAI.
GPT-4o, yeah.
Check out those videos and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.